Hey there. Today I want to talk about the upcoming eclipse. The new moon in Aquarius on Tuesday, February 17th, is also a solar eclipse. Eclipses are extra potent new moons and full moons because at the time of the exact new moon or full moon, the sun, moon, and earth are all in the same plane, casting that shadow that eclipses are known for. And what that does energetically is it opens up the possibility of a shift, of something coming through, something changing, something coming into awareness that wasn't previously there. So let's take a look at the energy of this Aquarius eclipse, and I'll show you the chart too. It's really happening at such an important time, and lots of interesting alignments happening around this eclipse. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro perspective for Sunday, February 15th. So today, just for today, we have the moon in Aquarius, and we're heading into that new moon that will be exact Tuesday morning at 4 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. Although, even though we have an exact minute when the eclipse is exact, or the new moon is exact, technically, what it's not limited to a minute, obviously. It is, and even any new moon, kind of, we feel the energy of that new moon for at least a couple of days before and after the exact new moon. I always say, set your intentions with the new moon. It's a great time to plant your seeds for the future by stating what's important to you, right? Being clear about what you want, and call that in rather than unconsciously dwelling on the things you don't want, which we do as human beings, right? We go into that unconscious mind chatter that brings our focus into what we kind of, that fear or that sense of worry about what might happen. And what we want to do on purposefully, is instead of dwelling on what we're worried about, we want to give that intention to what it is we want. Because by doing that, we unconsciously align ourselves with that outcome. And so we might think a little bit differently. We might respond a little bit differently. We might see things a little bit differently when we've set those positive intentions that open us to the possibilities that maybe we can't see when we're dwelling on what we're worried about. So that's sort of basic, right? We do that every moon cycle, hopefully. And with this moon cycle, we have this potent eclipse energy that also brings, additionally, for more than those couple of days before and after, brings just this bigger wave of vibration. So a bigger significance and a bigger moment in terms of our collective experience, in part because not only is this a Aquarius new moon, which has to do with a focus on freedom, on shaking things up, on getting outside of the limitations of the past. So breaking free, breakthroughs, shifts in consciousness, all of that is possible anytime we're talking about Aquarius energy. But with this eclipse, not only do we have that Aquarius new moon vibe, but the new moon aligns in a nearly exact square to Uranus, the planet of shakeup and change, the modern ruler of Aquarius. So Aquarius and Uranus kind of vibe the same way. And then the planet Uranus is in Taurus. Now, Taurus is about what what grounds us, what helps us feel safe, what we feel like we know and we can count on, and it's there, like things like the seasons, Things like the smell of a rose, right? We know what a rose smells like. And we know we can expect that. When we see a rose, we almost already smell it because we have that. And of course, they vary a little bit and all that. But you know what I mean? Like you have that expectation, and reality confirms your expectation. So that is Taurus. With Taurus, you know what to expect. Reality confirms what you expect to happen. Everything's good, right? You can set your clock to it, right? It's very predictable, just like the seasons, just like day and night, right? We just know there are certain things that are going to always be there, always be the same. And putting the planet Uranus in the sign of Taurus says that what you thought was always going to be the same is no longer what you can depend on. So it's bringing that shift, that change, that earthquake energy, that lightning bolt energy, that break up of the ice energy, that breaking free energy that is inviting us to or I don't know if an invitation is the right word, but right, it is kind of opening those doors to having to see things in new ways. And the things that we could count on, we can't count on anymore. So whether that's government or systems or institutions of the past or things that just in your personal life you thought would always be there, things change. And so Uranus reminds us that the things that we really thought we could count on might be changing. Now, that is not, I mean, it can be in hard ways, but it can also be in really good ways, right? Because when we feel those limitations and we say, oh, this is the way it is, I guess it can never get better than this. Uranus says, oh, yes, it can, right? It reminds us that those doors can open to new possibilities that we haven't considered. We that haven't even crossed our radar as something that's possible, because remember, we're in those Taurus expectations. We're in that, like, no, it's a rose, it smells like a rose, right? But no, something is different, something is changing. So that is the energy of this eclipse, is that energy of Uranus in Taurus, shaking up our expectations, bringing in the need to adjust to a new normal. At the same time, we have this energy of breakthrough and freedom and the need for freedom, and feeling that the kind of the pressure building, like it builds in the tectonic plates before you have the great, shift, or the earthquake, the plates shifting. So this is the energy of this eclipse. It's all this pressure. It's this need to see things in new ways. It is a necessity that we can't avoid, even if we want to. And there will be change. So when we are working with that energy of shift and change to say, here's what I want, here's the change that I want to see, here is the future I want, here is the unconsidered possibility that I would like to put on the table. Because when you do that, you can invite in that possibility to be what is created. And you can facilitate, right, the good things coming in by opening to them, by allowing your mind to consider new ideas, by sparking your ideas off of another person to get excited about what you can come up with when you start imagining new possibilities. So that is the energy of this eclipse. We are, of course, already seeing things shifting and changing, reality is kind of crumbling in terms of how we thought things were. seeing some of that, where some of it has been an illusion, or some of the things that we thought were impenetrable might be, in fact, showing weakness or the possibility of dissolving. So that's all here with us with this energy. We're already feeling that eclipse energy. Like I said, it ripples out. It is big waves of energy, and so it ripples into the time prior to the eclipse, which, as of when I'm recording this video, we are still before the eclipse. But depending on when you're watching it, the energy will continue, of course, after the exact eclipse, and that will continue to ripple out and unfold in bringing in new developments, unexpected changes, breakthroughs, potentially new ideas and new possibilities, and also that kind of crumbling feeling. So the feeling of, reaching for something that's always been there, and it's like, oh, it's either not there, or it has changed, or it's got a different shape or a different form. And so how you respond to that, how you work with that, is you adjust, right? You go, oh, okay, now I'm dealing with something different. Let me adjust myself to be ready for that change. And so, again, the more positive we can be, the more we can sort of steer the shift and change in the direction we want to see. And that's part of how we can, manifest the outcomes we want to manifest, both on a personal level and on a collective level. So this eclipse, not only are all those things happening, but also we have the Saturn Neptune exact conjunction. So they're very close to conjunct already during this eclipse. They're within a half a degree of separation during the exact eclipse. And by the 20th, will be exactly conjunct. So that Saturn Neptune conjunction is the potent energy of this year, of our times in many ways. It represents a time of shift, of new beginnings, of new possibilities, where we can reimagine how we want life to be, how we want to do our relationships with each other, our communities, our society. Like, this is a reimagining moment. What do we want, right? What has not worked from the past? What do we not like? What do we want to not take forward with us? And that's what we're leaving behind with that Pisces energy that these outer planets are just now leaving. Saturn and Neptune has been bringing to our awareness what it is we don't want anymore, and what it is we are releasing as we move into the new vision. And so new mythologies, new myths and stories for who we are, for who we can be, for what we can create together. So this is absolutely a get outside the box moment in your thinking, and open your mind to what could happen, what could coalesce, what could crystallize, how dreams can take form and take shape. And of course, that conjunction is what I am bringing forward in the Emergence Guest Speaker Series. So I have a series of videos with guests I have invited in to talk to you about different aspects, different dimensions of especially the Saturn-Neptune conjunction and 2026 astrology in general. So we're in a very potent week, and those are some great videos to watch to get a sense of the bigger picture, and these different voices kind of sharing like how to think about it and how to navigate these energies. So really, really cool stuff. Transformationalastrology.com is where you can see those videos and share with your friends, get the word out. So with the February 17th eclipse, We also have that Saturn Neptune conjunction taking shape. And we also have what Sarah El Harar in the Emergence series talked about, which is this incredible, rare, sacred geometry of a triangle between the outer planets. And it's what I've been talking about here on my YouTube channel that I've been calling a double sextile. So, anyway, I won't go into the details. I'll actually show you on the chart in just a minute, but that's another piece of the energies of this eclipse. So, just to bring home how meaningful, how significant, how important this eclipse is. Now, that doesn't mean to put a lot of pressure on you to, like, oh my gosh, this is my one chance to get something right. It's more like it's energy moving and changing. And if we can flow with these changes, there will be many, many opportunities along the road to work with this energy. So the more you're tuning in with yourself, the more you're listening to your heart and your higher mind and your higher wisdom about what you need at this time, how to connect with your own courage and what courage looks like for you personally, what courage, initiative, action, life force energy, some of these themes of the 0 degrees Aries energy, which we've been talking about in the Emergence guest speaker series. Especially Judith Tamara talks about the point, the 0 degrees Aries in your personal life, and Louise Eddington talks about 0 degrees Aries as the world point and the significance of the conjunction happening. Other speakers speak about it as well. It's just a really potent and important point in the zodiac. So we're having the outer planet conjunction at that point. So you get the idea. It's a significant moment, but it's not like it's all going to happen at once. And it's not like there's something you have to do or you miss the bus. Like, it's not like that. It really is like you're going to look back on this time and you're going to go, wow, there was a lot of change happening at that time. And, for some of us, our lives will be very changed. And for others of us, we'll look back and we'll just see what we were learning, what was showing up, how things in the collective were changing. So paying attention and really thinking about this eclipse as a moment to set your intentions. It is a very powerful thing to do in general, but it's an especially important moment to think big picture. Really let yourself get outside the box and ask for what you want. Even if it's something you don't think is possible in 100 lifetimes, that's okay. Still connect with it. That's your vision. That is your what you imagine for the future. And I can't tell you that something that exactly might take 100 lifetimes to manifest will actually manifest, next month. I certainly can't promise that. But what I can say is that I bet I would put I would wager that some components of what you imagine when you get outside your own limited thinking, some components of that are possible. Some of the qualities, some of the pieces are going to start to be tangible and become more tangible over time and take shape. So don't be afraid to think big. Don't be afraid to ask for what you really want. And again, right? Like, asking for what we really want can be a little bit intimidating. So just let it be a way of playing, right? No pressure. Just be playful with it. And it's a good exercise to deepen into, gosh, what if I really did have a choice here? What would I be asking for? So think about that. And then bring it into your Aries action, your warrior self, right? And what are the actions you can take to further that intention, to move something in the direction of that. And again, I don't know whether you'll succeed in your immediate goal or whether you'll win or lose, right? But the important thing is that you are trying, because when you try, when you take risks, Aries energy says you'll learn something, even if you fall down, even if it doesn't go the way you hoped, especially if it doesn't go the way you hoped. You sure do learn a lot, right? And you can keep going, and one step after another, you learn and you get better at it over time. So think about this eclipse energy as a moment of shift, as an opportunity to imagine, to get beyond the limitations of the past, especially in your own thinking, of what you think is possible. And really, like, how would you live your life if you really believed it was possible? How might you live your life differently? That's a, great exercise to do. Maybe you're already doing all the things that feel in alignment for you, or maybe there's something you could add or do a little bit differently. It can be small, it can be little things. Maybe maybe it's as simple as attending to your own self-care, because gosh, when you have your batteries charged, maybe you can do that one little extra thing that makes a difference for others that you couldn't do because you were just depleted. So that's where Cynthia Backer's talk comes in, and just so many amazing speakers sharing these really cool tips. Transformationalastrology.com is where you can find all the guest speakers. So with that, I will now share, for those of you who are interested, the chart for this eclipse. This is the sun and moon coming together here. 28 degrees Aquarius. That's a new moon, is when the sun and moon come together in the same degree and minute of the zodiac. And so that's our new moon right there. It's an eclipse. And you can, I mean, depending on how technical you want to get, you can tell it's an eclipse because it's really close to the north node of the moons. It could be close to either the north node or the south node. All that tells us is that they are in the same plane. The sun, moon, and earth are in the same plane when they are close to that node. Cool little factoid there. And then you can see here, sorry for my sloppy drawing, but you can see that Saturn and Neptune here, both at 0 degrees Aries, very, very close to an exact conjunction at the apex of, and let me do this here, this little triangle. That is the sacred geometry that Sarah El-Harar talked about in her Emergence Guest Series interview. So that little triangle stays in place for about 6 years on and off. So that it comes in and out of exact throughout that time, but it's with us from 2024 through 2029. And it's outer planets. So we've got Pluto, Saturn, well, Neptune, but Saturn is joining it this week, and Uranus. So those are the outer planets forming this triangle that stays with us for most of this decade. So that is this Aquarius. And not only that, but here you can see this line here is representing the square between the sun and moon and Uranus. You've got also, in this case, Jupiter over here. And Jupiter, by the way, by July, will be moving into a sextile with Uranus and will form yet another sextile here in July, which will form a cradle as Jupiter enters Leo and opposes Pluto. So that that will bring more magnification to this energy of manifestation. So super cool. and just a very fascinating and potent eclipse chart. Hopefully that's helpful to understand the eclipse, why it's so meaningful and important, and why we will probably look back at this as a time of shift, as a time. And I don't know whether on the exact day of the eclipse, there could be something momentous happening, or it could be just the general feeling around this eclipse because it does last. It ripples out. So watch for shift and change. Depending on how it activates your own chart personally, it could be more of a personal deal for you or more of something that we see happening in the collective, which we certainly see with that Saturn Neptune conjunction. But I think we'll look back at this time and see it as a time when something emerged, something began to break down, something changed, something began to move in an entirely new direction. And that direction, as always, how we steer things is up to us. So each one of us has a part to play in how we live our lives and how that impacts what's possible in the collective and what we can create together. Thanks for being here. I'm Marina Orms. Thanks for subscribing to this YouTube channel. And don't forget to check out all of the amazing, wonderful Emergence series guest speakers at transformationalastrology.com. See you next time.